Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Commission Breath. Brandon Love here with Tom Moffat. And today we are going to do a deep dive into how to get more Google reviews. And some of you might think your Google page is awesome already, but don't sleep on this episode because there's quite a few tips and tricks that you can implement that will make it even better.
Yeah, we were going to have this as one big episode, kind of like a Google business masterclass, but we decided just before we hit record that we're going to split this up into two separate episodes. So this one is just going to be on how to get more reviews. And the other episode is going to be how to set up your Google business and how to have it optimized properly.
Yeah. And part of the reason we're back on the Google train is everyone who's a listener knows that Tom and I merged our business a while ago, but we both had pretty successful Google pages individually. And then we merged and we were kind of building up from scratch. And we've got that to a pretty good point. Like we still need a little bit more gas on it, but it's pretty good now. But the interesting piece was this past couple of weeks, we got several leads from our prior pages. So we're like, that's kind of interesting that pages that are older for businesses that we haven't even really done anything with for almost a full year now are generating leads for us. So it brought us back to Google and we're like, let's reinvigorate this a bit.
Yeah, this last week I had the weirdest lead, and it was from my old Google business page where it's from my old town, small town. I rank in the top 3. I'm pretty sure I still do. And it's my old Google page that I can't do anything with. I can't migrate it over anywhere. I can't change the address because I have to verify it. So it's just sitting there dormant and I can delete it. And I kind of want to because it's representing my old brand and the phone number's different. I had my old lead vine number on there. Everything is off, but I'm just going to leave it because I actually got this lead last week. He called me out of the blue. He starts like going on about what he's trying to do. Like, oh, I'm a first time home buyer. I want to buy a house, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, slow down. Like, where did you even get my number from? Because usually I have leads come in through email intro, through realtors or past clients. And so right away, he's like, oh, I found you on Google. I'm in Lincoln area. I'm like, okay, cool. So long story short, this ended up being a live deal as of like today because he had this one house that he was looking at, didn't have a realtor. I wasn't able to capitalize on giving a referral to one of my realtors, unfortunately. But nonetheless, it's a live deal, 960K mortgage. And it was from Google, like a Google business page that's just sitting there. So it kind of left me thinking like, we're probably leaving something on the table here with our own Google business, our merged one. And it's pretty, I don't want to say easy, but we can ramp up the reviews on there pretty quick, especially because there's 2 of us. So that kind of led me down the trail of looking back at Google business. And so here we are.
For sure. It's an extra 10K, let's call it, for not touching something for over a full year, which is like, where else are you going to get that? You can do all your prospecting, you can do all your social, you can do all those pieces, and you should. And that's fantastic. But this is just another area that just feeds you once in a while. It's not going to feed you every day, but once in a
Yeah.
while, a big fish is going to come in and family's going to have a feast.
Yeah, it's not going to be your number one lead gen. There are some brokers out there where this is their jam. I'm thinking of James Lowen specifically. Shout out to him. He's got like, I want to say almost 700 Google reviews now, which is insane. And a lot of his leads do come from Google itself. And before you sit there thinking, like, well, I don't really want Google leads because they're online leads, they're actually pretty decent. Like for an online lead, they are the best in the game. And sometimes they're even better than a realtor referral, to be quite honest. But you do have to be quick at answering your phone because they might just be going on to the next Google business profile. So, with that, I also thought that this might be a shiny object for us at the start. So I was hesitant on going here, but then I realized we can get these Google reviews through the actions we're already doing in our client journey. And to optimize our profile, we're probably looking at all in 2 to 3 hours. So to get this done in the slow time of the year right now, November, December, it's the best time to do it. And then that kind of sets us up properly for the new year.
For sure. It's a low input and then it's just maintenance and it's extra touch points, extra asks, all the things that we already do put into our journey and it's just ramping it up even more. So we're just layering on top of the systems we already have and getting better results from it. So let's dive into why people should want to boost their Google profile.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the obvious reasons, you get more leads, but how do we get those leads? So, first of all, you have the organic SEO. So, with Google, there's been a lot of change with SEO in general, with them embedding more AI and the search functions are different. So, whether or not that's better or worse for small business owners, I'm not sure yet. To be quite honest, I haven't done a deep dive on the SEO aspect. But if this guy reached out to me out of the blue for a dormant profile And if you're in the area that you're in, like right now in your city, open up an incognito browser and see if you even rank if you have a Google business profile. And if not, see what the top ranking profiles are. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes it's not the profiles with the highest amount of reviews, it's because they've done other things with their profile to optimize it. So, number one is SEO. Number two, it's social proof. So, whenever someone's searching you, let's just say a realtor refers you a client and that client wants to search you, they're probably going to search on Google your name. And if you don't have a Google business profile or a good presence on there, it's kind of a red flag for them. And if you're not down the social route, at least have that Google business profile to show that you exist.
100%. Any sort of business, I'm always looking at, okay, Amazon reviews or I'm looking at Google reviews. That's where I'm going to first. Like someone would recommend someone to cut down a tree, for example. I'm going to check out that person's page. And like if that arborist took down the tree and smashed up someone's cottage, they're going to leave them a pretty crappy review. So you'll see some of these red flags versus if someone's doing like really tidy work. People like to note that stuff. So people are doing this. This is naturally how people shop right now. So they're looking at social if they're savvy. They're looking there to make sure you're present, you're kind of current with the times. And then they're checking places like Google to see, okay, is this person actually doing good work or do they just have a nice brand?
Yeah, bang on, man. And the last piece I'll add to this as to why you should have a Google profile is because you can use it for marketing purposes as well. So if you're big on social and you get these reviews, you can share that on your social media, which shows credit that you know what you're doing, you're closing mortgages, people are happy with what you're doing for them. And secondly, if you're building out some sort of like complex, high end landing page, conversion funnel, whatever you end up doing, you always have this in your back pocket if you need that because again, it's that social proof. You want to showcase your reviews out there in the world. And one last thing you can do with that is you can actually put all your Google reviews on like a one-page PDF or a one-page Canva doc, and you can save that and have it in your arsenal to send out to a realtor during the client journey. So one thing I might be doing is putting it all into one page. And when I introduce myself to the listing realtor, I'll send that on closing day, saying something along the lines of, "Hey, it was great working with you. Just to let you know, a lot of their clients are happy working with my team. Here's some proof as to like what we do and how we can help your clients in the future." Something along those lines. I just made that up now, but you can tailor it and tweak it to how you need to just by creating this one PDF file that takes you maybe like 10 minutes to do.
Yeah, I used to do like a realtor presentation where the last slide was like screenshots of all the Google reviews. And I'd be like, is your current broker or like loan officer at the bank getting you raving reviews like this? And people be like, oh, that's like amazing. Da, da, da. Like everyone just says, yeah, they got me financing, whatever. So it just adds that little element there.
Yeah, so you put that in the four slide, eh?
Yeah, it was my final slide. So it was like just
Nice.
reviews would go up. My ask was something like, can I create raving fans out of your clients? Something like that. And then I would just like sit back, be quiet, let them kind of read the reviews, and then wait till they spit out a name or whatever. Spit out a name or an objection.
They're blinded by the 5 gold stars everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on, we've established why you want to do this. You definitely want to do it. It's low input. There's no excuse for you not to do this. Once you have it, you move on to where to actually get the reviews because the thing is, once you put it in place, you don't want to be sitting there with 1 to 3 reviews because the inverse is also true. If you don't have some reviews there, it looks like you're really shitty at your job, even if you're fantastic at it.
Yeah. And so let's go through some of the stages in the client journey as to where you can ask for these reviews. I mean, I'm just thinking of this now. You can even maybe before you even go to the client journey, if you've been in the business for even a year, chances are you have some past clients you can go and ask for that review to build it up. So go ahead, give them a call, shoot them a text, just be honest with them. Say, hey, I'm creating a Google business profile. I'm late to the game, but I would love to see if you can give me a 1 minute Google review. As long as, of course, you were happy with when we got your mortgage for you. Something like that, something easy. And you'd be surprised people will do it.
I had a realtor partner that did that, and she started with zero. And she said those exact things. She said, I know I'm late to the game, but I've serviced hundreds of clients. My goal is to get to 100 reviews in the next 6 months. I'm asking people I've worked with if they're willing to give a review. And she asked past clients, she asked mortgage brokers like me, she asked lawyers, she asked like someone who does home inspections, anyone that she could think of to give her a review. And she's over 100 plus, and her business has skyrocketed from it.
Really, just from the
Yeah.
reviews.
Just from the reviews, yeah. She's with Exit. She's in a small town. They flew her down to Florida to present to like all of the US and
What?
Canada on like the impact that it's had on her business.
Man, isn't that, I don't wanna say hilarious, but, like, this is where opportunities come from too. Like, you niche into something cool like this, and she had the opportunity to fly down. I don't know if she got paid or whatever the case was, but it could have opened up doors for her to branch out into some other revenue streams, and all she did was ask people for Google reviews. Like, isn't that
Yeah,
insane?
exactly. Concentrated effort. You condense it into a really short time. The result scales very quickly. And there you have it. She doesn't have to do that again. She's done it once and now she just does the
Yeah.
maintenance. And that's what we'll get into now about how to continuously keep growing it through the maintenance of things like when to include it in your client journey.
Yeah, I love that story. That's sweet. All right. So discovery call, that's when I first mention a Google review. Of course, you're probably not going to get a Google review after the discovery call, but it's more about planting the seed and letting that client know, hey, I don't charge for my service. And of course, if you do on the B side, then that's a different conversation. But we're mostly A and we don't charge on the B side. So I tell them up front, I don't charge anything extra for my service. I get paid by the lender. The only thing I'll be asking you when we close on your mortgage is for a Google review. And I just leave it at that, just kind of planting the seed.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you have like a COF, for example, you get the approval in, it's a very high point for clients. And that's another opportunity to really ask for one. And the reason I like to do it now is even if you have your lawyer partner on it, you can't control shit happening at the branch. You can't control the lawyer, like just something going wrong there. There's so many factors, but like getting that approval and saying, hey, we have your commitment. Everything's looking fantastic for your closing. Looking forward to getting this done with you. Before you get busy with the move, do you mind reviewing your experience with my team?
How was your experience being getting the review at approval stage?
Actually, pretty good.
Okay.
Like you call or text, and they're like over the moon excited about it, but they have nothing else to do at that phase. Like, sure, sometimes they have some documents to get them and whatever like that. But like beyond that, they're just excited, they're happy. So you ask the review then. If you ask for the review later on, like you should ask several times. So we're going to touch on several points that you're going to ask again. But let's say you ask on the day of closing. They are thinking about moving, they're thinking about what color they want to paint the walls. They've got so many other things going on that it's less likely that they're going to do it that day.
Yeah, my conversion rate on the approval stage is actually very low. And I think it's because I'm asking for it over email when I send the commitment. So that's a big mistake I'm making. I know if I wanted to concentrate on getting more and, enhancing it as much as possible, giving them a call and telling them that they're approved is for sure going to have the highest conversion rate.
Yeah, what I do is I send a text because like I don't always want to sit on the phone or like go through the whole commitment conditions, all
Exactly.
that stuff. So
Same.
I let Diana send like the outstanding conditions and anything that way, but I just fire a quick text to them and then I say, hey, and then you drop the link right in there. Can you review your experience with us?
Yeah, I like that because you can still do the email. Because I like to have the email where they can see the commitment. I do an overview of the remaining conditions if there are any. So that way it's nice and clear for them before they waive the COF. So I can still do that. And then I can follow up right after with a text saying something like, hey, you're approved. Just sent out an email to you. Like they'll respond. And then that's when you can ask for the Google review. I like that.
Exactly. And like there's another benefit to this as well. So let's say, for example, they have a condition on the inspection and that place falls through and they don't end up finding something else. You still, in some cases, have grabbed that review that looks great for you. Additionally, if 6 months from now they find another place and they're shopping you against someone who might win on rate but not on service, you can just draw back to that review and say, hey, you already know that we do a fantastic job, so rate's one part of this package. Let's draw back on the things that we do. And we've shown you a few other things like rate insurance, all these other pieces. Let's just say we're going to continue to give you this 5-star experience. Can you expect that from XBC who's giving you a little bit of a discount?
Blue BC. That actually reminds me, you can get these reviews before anything transpires. So like you have the approval there, so you're well into the process. But even before, if you go back to the discovery call, you can actually get reviews there. And one example of that is I haven't got the review yet, but I just did an ask yesterday. It was someone that is up for renewal, closing in 15 days from now. So I can't even help them. And honestly, where they're at right now, I would get beat out with rates anyways. So I just told her, hey, here's your options. Let me review the offers they gave you. Cool, cool, cool. By the way, I'm going to send you a separate email with some rate offers. Forward that to the person you're working with at the bank, because I want the bank to drop their pants for them. Because of course, like that helps us in the long run if they
Yeah.
just keep dropping. But that's a whole different story. But anyways, I did that, and in there, she felt bad that I took 15 minutes out of my time to help her. So I said, "No, don't feel bad. That's completely fine. Like I'm happy to help. I would love a Google review if you have a minute though." And she said, "Yes, absolutely." So hopefully we see that in today, but that's an example of you can still get Google reviews even if they haven't gone through your process yet.
For sure, 100%. And then when it comes back around the time for renewal, you have them in your database, and then you can say, hey, just reminding you of my fantastic
Ah,
service 3 years ago or whatever it is. And it's a great opportunity there. Okay, so move on to the next one. Next point on the journey where I'd ask for one is all conditions met. This is probably where you're going to get the vast majority because everything's done. Client doesn't have to do anything else. You know that hopefully it's been a smooth process so far, and they're just waiting until closing day now.
yeah, this is where I get most of mine is all conditions met. And for those of you wondering, like, why are you calling all conditions met? We changed it from broker complete to all conditions met a couple years ago for many reasons because the client has no idea what broker complete means. So if you haven't
Yeah.
changed that yet, highly recommend it. But this is where I get the majority of mine, and I'll have it as a PS tagline in the email itself, and I'll get it there. And everyone's happy that they don't have to do any more document work or anything, right?
Yeah, it's another high point. It's a very easy win. So that one's pretty self explanatory. From there, the next one is closing day. Like I said earlier, a little bit more of a challenge because they've got a ton of shit going on
Yeah.
and they're less likely to give it to you. But still ask if you haven't got it already. And the key thing is every one of these asks, if you haven't got it the one before, just put another PS. Happy closing day. PS. Just a gentle reminder or whatever. However you want to say it that you're comfortable doing, do it that way.
Yep, absolutely. Closing, I don't really get too many, mostly because if they are going to leave a Google review, it's going to happen at all conditions met, most likely. Closing date's a little frantic for people, but the last one you can add in here, and I personally don't do this. I think I might embed this for next year. I don't know. Is a 7 day phone call. A lot of people do a 30-day check in. I'm thinking of doing a 7 day check in, and the reason being is they're still kind of riding the high a little bit, especially if it's a purchase. It's a new home. They've likely moved everything in at that point. And with the 7 day phone call, you can also help them with setting up their portal with their bank if they haven't done so already. And that's one thing that, even like with my own mortgages, trying to figure out how to register for the portal, it's not horrible, but you still have to like figure that out on your own. And it'd be really cool if you, as a broker, can help them do that and make it a lot more seamless for them. So that'd be an easy way to provide even more service and value on the 7 day phone call, checking in and asking for that Google review if they haven't already.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so several different ways that you can ask. And for some of you, you're probably doing several of these. You might have a few other cool ways that you're incorporating. So please share those because the value of commission breadth grows from everyone sharing different ideas with us. But for those of you who aren't implementing these, just pick a couple like that you're comfortable with. If you're someone who doesn't feel comfortable asking, just get into like doing a few of them and then slowly you can scale it up from there. But moving on, this might help some of those who are a little bit on the fence about asking for it is how to ask. So everyone's got a different method that they're comfortable with. You can do phone call, you can do email, Loom video. We find like conversion wise, phone calls are the best.
Yeah.
But if you're scared to pick up your phone, as some of you are, throw it in a text.
Yeah, text is like path of least resistance. It's easiest. If you're even scared of doing text, do email. It's going to be your lowest conversion rate. And if you're even scared to do the email, one thing you can do that's even easier is if you already have email templates, just add it in the template and you're not even typing it out every time. So you don't feel cringy typing it out. It's already in there. So that's
Yeah,
even easier to do it that way. If you want the Google review, like you got to step out of your comfort level and get it right. Like you want to grow. Like the alternative is your business isn't going to grow if you're not comfortable getting uncomfortable.
exactly. Yeah, just get over writing that cringy message once. You can save like a thing on your phone, like just type 3 keywords or whatever, and it will populate, or you can do it in email as well. Another like fun way to do it if you're like, I don't feel comfortable with this, but I'm like kind of like joking with. I had a client and they kind of freaked out. I don't know why, and all the budgets, all the scripting, everything we do. like several months had gone by and I called them just kind of doing a check-in call and they're like, Brandon, like we feel terrible. Like we've been sitting here, we've been wondering, like you've never sent us an invoice, never paid anything. Like when do you get paid for this? Like we feel bad, like we want to reach out, but we're so scared about like having another big expense, looking at the real estate commissions and stuff like that. I'm paid directly by the lender, totally free is like what I'm thinking in my head. But I was like, oh, you didn't get the bill? I'm like, yeah, like just leave me a Google review. That's fine. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, I'm just joking with you. Like, I'm paid directly by the lender, but like, if you can leave a Google review, that would be fantastic. They just found it really funny and they left a glowing review. They've sent me several referrals, but it's just kind of like different fun ways you could ask. Like, you could even send an email saying, hey, your invoice for my services. Just kidding. All I ask is that you send anyone who's shopping to me and leave me a Google review.
That's a cool one. I like that. I like the idea of having some sort of humor in there, or even just being like super transparent and honest and be like, I feel cringy asking for a Google review because I know most people don't leave one and it's annoying, but it would helps me out greatly for me and my family or my business, whatever you want to do. Just be transparent and
Yeah.
throw some humor in there. I think that's a good idea.
For sure. Figure out what you're comfortable with and just play around with it. Like you're going to be asking for these all the time. So get into a habit and a system that works for you and then just do it over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, let's round it out with a couple bonus tips. Bonus.
This is the PS of the podcast.
That's right. And we might throw an ask in here at some point. It's gonna be off the cuff.
Oh, okay. So before we do that, PS, please leave us a review of Commission Breath. That helps more brokers and agents find us and would be greatly appreciated.
Smooth. Like it.
There you
All
go.
right. So, first bonus tip is ask your referral partners for a Google review. If you're brand new to Google Business or you want to ramp it up, this is a quick and easy one. And it's kind of a two hitter because it gives you a reason to call. So, you can call and lead with value first and be like, hey, I don't know if you have a Google Business profile. If you do, okay, cool. I would love to leave you a Google review. Can you send me the link or tell me what you want me to include in it? Like something along those lines, like offer that Google review to them first, or go ahead and do it yourself right away. And then reach out to the realtor or referral partner, whoever you're working with, and say, take a screenshot of it. Be like, hey, just wrote you a Google review. Let me know if it goes through because sometimes the reviews don't go through because Google can be a little clanky sometimes. Wait for the response. They're going to appreciate it. While we're talking about Google, can you leave me a Google review as well? I would love that.
Yeah, yeah. Do the reciprocity. Give them a review first. Do it for lots of partners too, like appraisal companies. You do it for your lawyers. Do it for your realtors, and then just send them a quick note. Hey, if you don't mind, can you throw one back? A lot of people will do it, even if you're batting 40%, whatever. You're gonna build a business that way. Touching quickly on one thing I wouldn't do, and when we were at Smix Mortgages, a lot of people did this. Is they would like post like, "Hey, this is my Google page." And they would ask for a
Oh,
bunch of like mortgage agents and brokers to write reviews for them and then they'd go and write them, so there was just like this like referral circle jerk. And the thing about it is like people go and actually look at your reviews and they're like, this seems so fake, like this person's profile seems really like fake and that they don't actually do good work. And then you click the reviews and it's like, why is this person reviewing 10 other mortgage brokers and they're a mortgage broker themselves? And number one, your clients can see through that and prospective clients can see through that. But like also the Google algorithm is smart, can see through that, and you're just going to fuck up your page. So don't do that. It's very
yeah.
tempting to do, but don't do it.
That's a great point. I actually forgot about that. I was tempted to do that at the start too, but then I was like, wait a second. If someone comes here and they click on the person that left the review, sometimes their name is literally like Tom Mortgages. Like it's
Yeah.
so obvious. So yeah, don't do that. Build it up naturally, organically. And like the referral partners is a quick and easy way to do it. I actually wouldn't do all your referral partners at once because then it does kind of look a little weird if you have like 15 realtor partners leaving it back
Yeah.
to back consecutively. So space them out, do like 5 asks at a time. And a tier two to that as well is once you get all of those reviews from your referral partners or realtor partners, that's where you can build that catalog of reviews and embed that in your four slides. So you have those there as well. So it all kind of intertwines and complements each other. And the last bonus tip with the client journey, going back to this is what I used to do and it worked very well. I stopped doing this just because our workflow with Diana, our fulfillment specialist, she personally just doesn't do this second tier that I used to have with my old assistant. My old assistant was more of like a general assistant, whereas Diana is like pure fulfillment. So I don't have her bothering doing this, but we used to have like an actual spreadsheet for every client with an itemized list of outstanding conditions. And that would just be a hyperlinked Google sheet in the email for them to access. And in that spreadsheet, they would have, like, let's just say there's 2 or 3 conditions left. There would be another condition right at the bottom that says optional Google review. And because it's listed there as a condition, a lot of people like seeing everything being checked off. And a lot of the times they would actually do it.
Yeah, it's like the OCD people like me. And I'm like, oh, I got to do this. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's probably something you should bring back. Even like we send the progress bar, you could leave people at like 90% and be like, the last 10% is your review.
Yeah.
There's little things
Revamp the
you
progress
do, like
bar. I like that.
psychological tricks and tips that you can get more from. But really, like, you don't need 1,000 of these. Like, you get, 40 plus, you're in a good spot. You get to over 100, I think you're in a fantastic spot, and you can do it pretty quickly. So the big takeaway here is you need to get Google reviews. So set up your profile. Once the profile is set up, start asking right away so you can build up that social proof there, and then embed different asks so that it continues to scale and grow, because you do want it to constantly show some growth there. You don't want it to show like your business was really busy in 2022, but you haven't done
True.
anything up until 2024. So keep getting those reviews in there.
Yeah. Bang on. Love it.
All right. Once again, another ask, leave us a review. Otherwise, we will see you next week. We've got some special guests coming up, which I'm sure you'll all love. Take care.
Cheers.